Hello, and thank you for joining us for Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood, and I'm pleased today, as well as it's my honor, to have people that actually work in the Parks and Recreation Department and for Community Services. And so I'd like to welcome Jack Teel, who's our Recreation Coordinator 3. And Jack, you're over aquatics, sports, and special events programming, and I think about 2 or 3 other things, so you wear a lot of hats.
I try
so
to.
You try to. Yeah, you do a good job. So you're with the Cottonwood Parks and Recreation Department, and Bryce Schauwecker, you're the Recreation Coordinator 2, head lifeguard, as well as you're over the Aquatics Center facilities for the City of Cottonwood. And you're kind of a new person in our group, so we'll be talking to you a little bit more as it pertains to that. Thank you both for being here today, because it's my pleasure. Yeah, thank you. You know, getting ready for summertime. That's what we're doing right now, and behind the scenes, there's so much that's going on with our aquatics facilities in Cottonwood. We have 2 pools. We have an indoor pool, we have an outdoor pool. We'll be asking both Bryce as well as Jack as it pertains to a little bit more the functionality of those pool facilities, what they do, how they operate, and then all of the behind the scenes things that go on specifically as it pertains to those aquatic centers here in Cottonwood. We're really blessed in that context of things as having 2 pools, because it gives us the option of having an outdoor pool for the summertime, spring, summer, and fall time, and then we have an indoor pool that runs quite a ways into, and I know I'm getting into Jack's time frame a little bit here, but I just wanted to identify that those are 2 opportunities for you here in the City of Cottonwood, that for small communities, we're probably one of the most blessed communities around, because no one else has 2 pools, especially the size of ours. And with that, I'm going to kind of get into some questions here in the first segment with Jack and kind of go over things. So I wanted to talk, I know that we discuss pools quite often because they're always in our midst and right at our forefront. How many pools, we talked about that as to the size of the pools. How big are they, gallon-wise? What is that?
Yeah, so we have 2 fantastic facilities. Our outdoor pool is a 300,000 gallon pool. It is a competitive qualifying pool, so it does meet AIA requirements to hold those state tournaments, those big meets, and things like that. And then our indoor pool is a 60,000 gallon recreational facility with a 4,000 gallon hot tub.
So those, so that 300,000 gallon pool. Now, tell us when both of those facilities were built.
So the outdoor pool was originally built in 1980. Since that time, it's had a couple facelifts, some remodels to bring it up to date. 1995 was its first one, and then we just redid one in 2010 to bring that up to kind of current standards. Make sure that it's operating the way we need it to and functioning the way the city has grown. So with that, we eliminated our old baby pool and extended it, and instead of a 6-lane pool, we added 2 additional lanes to go 8. Opened up more spectating areas so we could be a state qualifying meet, and really made a better function of it. We kept our diving well, that's 11 feet, and then we extended it to host those big meets. We built an elevated deck over there on the side, so all the spectators had an elevated viewing platform. It's fantastic to do all your announcements from, and yeah, it's been a really good time.
So with the elimination of the baby pool that we did have, that tot pool, what did we give then on the interior of the Parks and Recreation Rec Center?
So since we built the rec center in 2010, and we knew that we were going to build that as a family-oriented facility, we included our recreational facility in that pool. It's open year-round, so we didn't necessarily eliminate it, we just moved where it is. So taking it from the outside pool to the indoor pool, we're then able to offer that service and that function year-round. So in the indoor pool, we've made it a really family-friendly oriented place. We have an elevated clubhouse that was put in 2013, or 2015, I don't remember which one. 2015, I believe.
I think it was, yes.
And then we've got the lazy river that you float around in. It's all about 3 feet 6 inches, so it's very family, very kid-friendly. You can have your kid out there. You got the spin and splash, the spray fountain up on top.
That's fun.
The little tot slide. We've got the largest indoor water slide in Arizona. So there's a lot of good functions in there for the young kids and the families.
So it's a lot of fun. Now, when we talk about the outdoor pool now, especially with AIA regulations, that really helps Mingus Union High School as well as the Cottonwood Clippers, correct?
Tremendously, yeah, because it allows both those programs to invite more teams to make a larger scale event. So our Verde Valley Invitational, which is July 21st this year, they'll get 12 to 15 teams for that, Mingus is then able to host those state qualifying meets. So instead of us having to always go down to Brophy or the Phoenix metropolitan area for those big swim meets, we can host some of those here. Our kids can have home school advantage here at our pool, swim their better times, and qualify for meets that way as well.
And so, you know, with that, I think it's a really neat thing for people to come and enjoy. I know that they do down at Riverfront Park, especially with girls fast pitch softball. They can go down at any time and watch some of those tournaments that we put on. It's the same thing with the Cottonwood Clippers during the summertime. Is they start up here really fairly quickly here in April, and then they'll go all the way through July. So it's kind of neat for you to come out and watch those kids as they swim in competitive swim meet, and then also watching Mingus then do their meets right at home here all the way through November. Yeah. So it's kind of fun.
It really is fantastic. We have some great swimmers.
So now, can you give us an idea as to the cost to run these two facilities? I know it's quite a bit. I mean,
yeah, you know, the cost is an undertaking. The outdoor pool is about $150,000 between May through November, and then the indoor pool is about an annual $175,000 to keep those cost effective and running, and good filtration and heating the pools and all the different things that go into it.
So on the indoor pools, we have how many lap lanes then?
We have 2 lap lanes. It's separated right down the middle. We have times throughout all day that you can go in there and reserve those in 30-minute sessions. Really fun. It's a 19-yard lap lane, so it's a little bit different. It's not your competitive 25. So your times are faster, which is fantastic for me. I feel like I'm Michael Phelps in there.
There you go, yeah. So now, are both pools open year-round? Because I know I gave a little bit of your thunder away there, but tell us a little bit about that.
The big reveal.
The big reveal, yeah.
No, the outdoor pool is not open year-round, unfortunately. We do shut down in November, right after the Mingus swim team goes to state. They will make state, they always do. So we close down in November, give those kids a chance to prep, get some good team time in before they go down to the state qualifying meet. The indoor pool is open year-round, though.
Okay. Now, as it pertains to the outdoor pool, I know a lot of people always ask us, why don't you open it all year round? What are the problems with that, Jack, versus fundamentals of cost, and then also the damage it could possibly have with the pool itself too?
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors that go into when you're trying to take something from a short-term basis to long-term. One, we'd have to figure out how we're going to cover that pool, how we're going to keep that heat loss, because in the wintertime, we do get cold here. Contrary to popular opinion, it does get rather cold here, so that creates heat loss in those pools. To maintain that heat at 80 would be very challenging for us. So that's just one of the obstacles. A bigger one is a large majority of our staff are high school-based students. And once they go back into school, our staff is cut tremendously. So we wouldn't have the full-time staff to be able to man 2 facilities. It would really be a struggle for us at this point.
So, I think that kind of gives us a really good idea. It'd be another 6 months of running, but it would be running heaters at full blast, and I think those heaters are like 1 billion BTUs.
We have a billion BTU.
Maybe it's a million. I can't remember what it is, but it's a lot of BTUs actually going up in the atmosphere, and we just lose all of that. And then when the pool is sitting in, maybe sub 32 degree weather, we have that challenge of constantly trying to, keep the pool running and keeping the motors and the pumps moving and everything else, so we don't cause any problems with the pool there too. So that is a challenge for us.
Yeah, the mechanical wear and tear on that, as opposed to a short period of time throughout the year and a year round, is humongous.
It is. So now, what kind of staff does it take to cover both of these pools, and how many staff are required to operate each facility?
It requires a lot. I've been very fortunate to come through that program, and I know how many staff it takes, but I think Bryce is better suited for this question, as that's kind of what she's doing now.
All right. Bryce, what is that? What is the staff?
Our summertime, because we're running both pools, we have about 40 staff members that help keep our pools safe. Per Red Cross regulations, it is 1 lifeguard per every 25 members that are in the water. However, with our indoor pool, because we do have some obstacles, including blind spots, we keep it low at 1 guard to 15 members.
Oh, wow, okay. So you can keep a better lookout then.
Exactly.
Okay. And now, are there requirements as it pertains to the, I guess, state requirements then, as to what we have to do for, the actual load and actually moving water through those pools? I think that was the other thing I wanted to ask about, is we have to move a certain amount of water through those every 12 hours. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So the state requirement is a complete turnover of your pool within within 12 hours. And when I say turnover, that's the filtration of all the water in the pool, going through a polishing system and removing any of the debris or total dissolved solids or things like that can essentially hurt your pool health. I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. But so our pool, we have such great filtration system back there with our Defender system. Our pool always looks amazing.
It does.
And then with the oversized pumps, we move about 750 gallons per minute of water through our pump system. So within an hour and 20 minutes in the indoor pool, we're going through an entire turnover rate. So to get every drop of our water turned over in that pool, we're a maximum 6 hours to get every single drop from top to bottom. That's 60,000 gallon volumes within 6 hours, which is half the time of the legal requirement.
Wow, yeah, that really is. Now, let's get back to staff here real quick. Bryce, what are the certification levels that we have? So do you need a certification then to be a lifeguard?
You do. So we offer certification through the Red Cross. All of our lifeguards and our lifeguard candidates have to go through lifeguard training, AED, and first aid training in order to become a lifeguard with the Cottonwood Recreation Center.
Okay, so you have to be certified. So that's just another one of those things that we actually do to provide safety for the individuals who are out there, as well as for our risk and liability. We're going to go ahead and take a break right now, and we'll be back here in just a moment for our second segment. And thank you for joining us for Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. And with me are Bryce Schauwecker and then also Jack Teel. So we'd like to thank you both again for being here with us and joining us for today's segment on the aquatic centers and centers, because we have two. At this point in time, as we talked to you, Bryce, we had indicated that you've been a short timer here. How long have you been working for the City of Cottonwood?
I've been working with the city for almost 4 months now.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
So how do you like it so far?
I love it. The team is amazing. They've really allowed me to grow as a professional and to get amazing experience as well. Okay.
Now, what do you like most working with the City of Cottonwood? What is it that kind of entices you, and why did you come here?
I grew up around pools. I'm a swimmer myself. And for me, being around the water is the best thing ever. And I also love working with growing and young professionals and getting themselves ready for their future careers. And yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Now, tell us, what do you do in your free time? What are your hobbies? What do you like doing off time?
So if I'm not here at work, I am usually outside. I mountain bike, I ride horses. Enjoy the day at the lake. I'm hardly ever inside.
Yeah, okay. And tell us about college. So where did you go to college, and did you get a degree? And tell us about that.
So I went to NAU, and I got my degree in physical education and health. But there was something about the Parks and Rec field that drew me away from teaching, and decided that that was the career for me.
I think there's a lot of individuals that look at it in that context, in that way. You know, they'll be going for a specific, you know, thought of what their future is going to be, and something will draw them away because they are more enticed in that direction. And I think that was one of the things that transpired with you, Bryce, and we just appreciate you being here. Thank you for your work already. And so as we talk about, you know, child drownings in our, and especially in Arizona, because we have so many pools in the state of Arizona, there's a lot of things that transpire and happen with even near drownings. And so, you know, what are the most significant and unique challenges that we face involving prevention at our facilities?
You know, each facility has unique challenges themselves. Our outdoor pool, we have an 11-foot diving well. So, you know, you put any person or object down that far below the water, it can make it very difficult to see. As well, with it being an outdoor pool, you've got the sun glare, debris can fall on top of the water, making it even harder to look and see the bottom clearly. With our indoor pool, we have a lot of blind spots. We have large columns, our large play structure that can make it hard for one lifeguard to see the entire facility.
Yeah. And it is, and you just can't see behind those pillars. Yeah. So, and it's the same thing. If you've been out in a deep well pool and you watch your child go down to the bottom, it's hard to keep track of them. And especially when the sun is hitting the exact spot, you can't see anything.
No.
So it is one of those things. It's a constant challenge with the guards. That's why many of the guards that you'll see up in the guard towers is they've got their sunglasses on, their anti-glare, and they're trying to look, and they're trying to watch and be watchful of all of these kids that are at the pool. And sometimes we'll have, you know, the pool filled to about 260 to 270 maximum, and there's a lot of people in there right on top of one another. So they do an incredible job.
Absolutely.
And just, especially if you look at youth and what they do, that's one of the things they really we expect of them, and they expect of themselves. Is that's a challenge, but they meet that challenge every year. They do a great job. So. Help me out here, either one of you, with the size of these two large facilities, state requirements to turn over every 12 hours. We already talked about this a little bit. That's 300,000 plus gallons in 12 hours at the outdoor pool. So that's an awful lot, and that's a critical element. That's having pumps moving 24/7, correct?
Yeah, it's so big and such a massive volume of water that we actually have two pumps out there to handle that workload. And even then, we have a 2-hour turnover rate on there. We keep about a 750 to 800 gallon per minute flow rate on that pool as well, and that's per pump. So sometimes you'll see with the volume of water, we'll be hitting 1,200 gallons per minute on the turnover rate. So it really helps to keep that turnover going and making sure we're well below that minimum requirement. Yeah.
So when we talk about pool health, that's part of the aspect, and that's part of the challenge of that pool health. What is it? I mean, what does it mean by that terminology of pool health or a healthy pool?
Yeah, so pool health essentially is just how clean the water is. Pools are living bodies of people. They have their own identities, they have their own personalities. I swear, I've never been to a pool that is the same. So when you're looking at pool health, you're looking at the different contaminant sources. The outdoor pool is going to have a different pool health than the indoor pool because the outdoor pool is going to have natural debris in it. It's going to get the pine needles, it's going to get the leaves, it's going to get the pine cones. And all those things feed phosphates, which help aid its feeding for algae. Yeah. So we have to make sure that we're cognizant of that and treat for those different things. Whereas the indoor pool, you're not getting those. But the body oils, the shampoos, the detergents, the colognes, the perfumes that everybody brings into the pool, those all affect your pool health. That's why it's so important to shower when you come into the pool. Rinse our bodies clean, get rid of all those detergents, all those different things that we bring into the pool so our chlorine can be effective. The more things you have in the pool, the more the chlorine is going to have to eat it, the less available you have to let it do its job. So when we talk about pool health, we're talking about sanitation, oxidation of it, the turnover rate, the filtration of it, and making sure that you have a healthy body of water, just like you would want yourself as a person to be healthy.
That's right. And it's something we want to make sure that people feel comfortable coming to a pool, and that it's sanitized properly, the turnover rate is constant, and people are doing what they need to do in order to help us out. And that is to take those showers before they get into the pool.
Absolutely.
So now chemicals, when we talk about healthy pool, chemicals in our pools, you know, some people have issues with some of the chemicals, but tell us about the chemicals, and why do we have a chlorine-based pool versus a saltwater pool?
So when you're looking at them, there's different preferences. If you talk to different people, some people have a different thing. A lot of country clubs will use salt water. A lot of commercial people will use chlorine. And one of the experience I've had is the volume of water. Chlorine is a much more effective sanitizer and oxidizer than a saltwater pool. So when you're dealing with larger volumes of water, it's easier to maintain. It's easier to make sure that you're in regulation and you can make those adjustments as needed. Whereas a salt, there's a little bit more to it. The bather loads aren't nearly as heavy when you look at most of those, so you're able to control those at a slower rate. But for taking care of a pool, the reason I like chlorine so much better is you get corrosion rather than erosion. In a saltwater pool, you get a lot of erosion, things in the pumps that you can't see. All that salt is going through a high velocity pump, and it'll, over time, eat those propellers away inside those motors, which you can't see. You look down one day and you're not getting your flow rate. You're not getting the filtration.
Because you don't have any propellers left.
Exactly. And you're like, what's going on here? And then you have to tear the whole motor apart to see that. Whereas with chlorine and things like that, you're getting the corrosion. You can see, oh, I'm getting corrosion buildup here. I'm getting staining here. And you can see those and you can mitigate those a lot faster than the erosion process.
So what do we have that's a little bit different at the indoor pool versus outdoor pool?
So the indoor pool, one, we have a really fantastic filtration system. We use the Defender system. And here in Arizona, water is a huge commodity.
It is.
So that's one of the things that filtration system is so great on. It's a closed loop system, so we're not constantly feeding fresh water. So we're able to minimize that and keep our water usage down. And then with that, we have a UV light in there. Because it's an indoor facility, we're not getting the direct sunlight to help burn off all those bad things such as crypto. So we have a really good UV on both our indoor pool and our spa. The indoor pool has 4 UV lights that all of our water will filter through at the same time as it goes through the filters to help burn off all those chloramines, to help burn off all those harmful bacteria like crypto and things like that, whereas chlorine just can't do it effectively all the time. Right. And the outdoor pool, we always get the direct sunlight, so it's not a huge issue out there.
So cryptosporidia, that's one of the things we really want to look for and we really want to try to kill, and that's where the one problems they have in the Phoenix area is because they have some of the cryptosporidia. We're going to take another break here and enter into our third segment here in just one moment, but I just wanted to thank you for joining us. We're going to be talking a little bit more in our final segment here with Bryce and Jax that pertains to our swim lessons program and some of our other programs at the pool. So come right back, and thank you. I'm your host today, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Richard Faust. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about our indoor and outdoor pool facilities and what it takes to operate them. We're very pleased that we've got both Jack Teel and Bryce Schauwecker with us. We're going to be talking swim lessons and then programmings and what's going on at the pools here. So, Bryce, let's get into swim lessons. And we talked about our pool guards being certified. Now, do the swim instructors do they have to be certified as well?
They do. Yep. So they go through Red Cross training as well, and they go through a week-long training session so they learn how to teach and that they're comfortable with the children in the water. And
so if I'm interested in my child being involved in swim lessons, how do I go about that?
So you can sign up with our front desk attendants at the Cottonwood Recreation Center. Registration opens April 16th.
Okay, and what's the cost for a child then to go through that?
It is $35 for a session.
Okay.
We offer 4 sessions throughout the summer, and the first session starts June 4th.
Okay, and so when are the Learn to Swim classes? Because I know that that's very specific. A lot of people want to know what those are and how many kids were in this program last year.
So we had about 500 kids in the program last year. We offer them every 2 weeks. So first session is June 4th, and then it'll go for 2 weeks, and then our next session will start, and they're back to back, and they start Monday and they end the next Friday.
Wow, so we have what, 3? Do we have 3 sessions then?
4 sessions.
4 sessions total.
Yeah,
So we
4
get
total
so
sessions.
if you miss the first one or the second one and you're trying to sign up, you can always go for the third or the fourth. And some people actually do what? They'll sign up for one session and they'll actually do another session
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You'll
so there's a
see-
lot of that.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of carryover from the first session to the fourth. And the goal for most kids is to go from level 2 through 3 through 4 in the one season. So
Oh,
level
wow.
2 is where you see the majority of them get stuck.
Yeah.
They'll do level 2 twice, and then they'll move on through 3 and 4 pretty
That's
quickly.
great. Okay. Now, what are the age groups and the skill levels? How does that work then for the swim lessons?
So our age groups, it starts at 5,
Okay.
and it goes all the way to 15, and we offer 4 different swim levels.
Okay. And so with those 4 swim levels, I mean, is there something that they have to pass as a test, or what is that?
Yeah, so we offer our swim lessons through the Red Cross, and per Red Cross, they do have a skill checklist that they have to go
okay.
through.
All right. Now, what is the parent and taught class all about?
The parent and taught class is just a way for the parents and their children ages 6 months to 3 years to enjoy some quiet pool time and create a safe environment so their children get comfortable in the water.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now, is it really I mean, with that many lifeguards and everything going on, I mean, your job then as a supervisor, it must be very challenging. What do you, I mean, so you're actually programming all of these Learn to Swim classes and the taught classes, taught parent classes, all of this. So that's all behind the scenes then. Your scheduling is really effective because I mean we see that each year and it's really pretty dynamic. What time do things start at the pool in the early morning and kind of go through the evening?
Yeah, so we have pool functions pretty much all day long. So we kick it off at 6 o'clock in the morning with the Cottonwood Clippers swim program getting in there. They'll do their A team, and that'll go 6 to 8. So those high-level swimmers are getting a 2-hour practice in to get ready for all their meets throughout the summer. From 8 to 8:15, we'll have a little interchange section where we're getting ready for our swim lessons program, and then we'll kick off our swim lessons program at 8:30. So 8:30 to 9 o'clock, we'll do our first session, and so on, up until 11 o'clock when we get the adult lap swimmers and the aerobics instructors and stuff out there.
Wow.
So from 11 to 12:30 is going to be adult lap swim, aerobics. 12:30 to 4, we do open swim, where you can just come in, swim, use the diving board, play games, whatever you'd like to do. 4 to 5, we have a therapeutic sweat session. And that's where if you're coming in rehabbing an injury, or a lot of the times Yes to ARC will come in, or things like that. And then we also utilize that time to do some more swim lessons programming. For the first 2 sessions, we'll offer it's a 4:15 to 4:45 swim lessons program. So if you can't make the morning, we'll offer that to you for the first 2 sessions in June, right before the monsoon season hits.
Yes.
And then at 5 o'clock, we'll go into another adult lap swim session. That's 5 to 6. And then at 6 o'clock, our programs wrap up and the Cottonwood Clippers come back in for their B and C teams. And that'll go from 6 to 8:15 at nighttime.
Wow. So
Yeah.
see, it really is. It's an incredible operation, and it's really dynamic throughout the day. A lot of people just think that it's, I'm here just for the recreation swim time periods or whatever. But I mean, we're going from 6 a.m. in the morning until almost 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
a
intense.
full programming schedule.
Very intense. Now, do we build any days in during the summertime for training or for the maintenance of the pools?
We do, every other Sunday throughout the season, and you can get those dates through our leisure times in our aquatics guide. And every other Sunday, we close that facility down. Either Bryce will be conducting training out there with the staff, making sure all their skills are up to date and they're getting the most current information. The Red Cross likes to pump out a lot of new skills, a lot of new information to us, so it's important for us and our staff to stay on top of those. So Bryce works diligently during those Sundays to get that, or this will be your first summer.
That'll be a challenge for her.
That's one of her goals, was to provide more of those on-hand trainings and getting that stuff. And then the days when she's not doing her trainings, we'll have our staff in there shocking the pools, cleaning the pools, doing all the maintenance and mandatory upkeep that we need to do to make sure we're providing that safe experience.
That's neat. Now, if I'm interested in actually maybe reserving or renting the pool for a pool party, I'm having a birthday group, or I'm having an anniversary party, or I'm having maybe a senior party for my graduating senior and my family. How do I go about doing that for a pool party?
Yeah, the number one thing is I have to receive an invite.
There you go.
So we have pool rental forms that you can get at the front desk of Cottonwood Recreation Center.
Okay.
You'll fill those out. We rent them out Friday and Saturday nights. Coordinating times, you'll have to see what times you're looking at and what's available, and then you'll set down a deposit, a cleaning deposit, so at the end we'll go through, we'll do a full cleaning of that facility so it's ready to go for public swim. But all that can be done by going to the front desk of the Recreation Center, getting that. It will have the price breakdowns, all the different things that you're going to need, and it'll lay it out all right there on one form so you can see exactly what those requirements are.
Awesome. That'd be a fun time because, man, you get the entire pool. So
fantastic.
So,
do your own luau?
Yeah, you can. Are there any special event programs at the outdoor pool throughout the summer months? And do I need a ticket, or is there a cost?
We actually have some dive-in movies coming up for our summer months. We have 3 movies for the summer, and they are the second Saturday of each month. So that would be June 9th, July 14th, and August the 11th.
Wow.
There are no tickets. You can just come as you go. And I believe they start...
We'll open those gates at around 7:45 or 7 o'clock. We'll start the movie. We say 7:45, but really it's when it's dark.
Yeah.
Arizona has a mindset of its own. Once that sun drops and we can see the screen, we'll start the movie.
So now, do we know what those films are yet?
We don't know yet. We just secured our title sponsor for this year. She came on and she bought all the rights to all of our movies, including 2 movies in the park. So working with Jennifer Griffin State Farm, we'll come up with the movie titles and get those out here shortly.
Great. So stay tuned for that. Now tell us about the Candy Cove Snack Shack too, and what does that entail?
Yeah, Candy Cove is a fun place to get away. It's our poolside snack bar. So you go over there, you get your drink, you get your chips. We have ice cream over there, all those different things. We try to keep some nutritious items in there as well.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, they don't sell as much. But, we offer that for those health-conscious people. So it's a fun way to go spend your time at the pool and not have to go out to eat to come back. We have some things there on site to hold you over and get that little sugar fix for all those kiddos.
Yeah, so all the lifeguards are always telling the kids don't run, so but they've got their sugar jitters. Okay, for our last question here now, what's our policy for lightning in the monsoon season? What does that entail?
So our lightning policy, we follow the Lightning Safety Institute, and under their guidelines, if lightning is 30 seconds or 6 miles away, we need to close our entire aquatic facility. This means that patrons are not allowed to be in the pool, they're not allowed to be on the deck, nor the locker rooms. It's all for their safety. Okay,
because lightning can hit outside that parameter, and it can go 6 miles. So that's one of the big reasons why is we want to make sure that everybody's safe and all your children are safe.
And this includes our indoor pool too, because all those water lines run outside. So if it hits those water lines, it's going to get that same effect through the pool.
So that's why we evacuate always, and so that's one of those things. Well, I thank you both for being here and joining us and giving us an opportunity to see inside our pool facilities and how they're run. You both are great. We've been fantastic. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us for Inside Cottonwood. I hope you have a good week and a good summertime, and we'll be back with you again in a month here. But thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Richard Faust, Community Services General Manager for the City of Cottonwood. Have a great day.